that.
Lid on it.
I'm alright, Jack.
Put a lid down on it before somebody starts to fight.
Say every time I turn it loose, it just comes down and cook my goose. When I start, I just can't stop.
If you keep this up, you're going to blow your top. Lid on it.
Too late this time.
Lid on
I
it.
gotta get what's mine.
Lid down on it, and everything will be alright. Stay alive.
I put a lid on it. I put a lid on it. I put a lid down on it. Save it for another night.
Hi, I'm Nicole Monaco,
And I'm Steve Parillo.
and welcome to the Gagootz Hour. Tonight our special guests are comedians John Santo and J.J. Boyd.
We also have Cooking Italiano with Alfredo Gagootz.
And now for your host, Benny Rizzuti.
Thank you, Wednesday and Pugsley.
No problem, Grandpa Munster.
And welcome to the Gagootz Show. Thank you. Thank you all. You know, honestly, these are two of the finest young people that I know. And actually, they're the only two young people who actually like me. I've been in a whirlwind today. I went nuts. My first show, very excited. And I got to the studio and realized I left my laptop at home. And I said, oh, my God. I raced back home to get my laptop. And there was my son and his friends making themselves at home in my living room, having a good time because my wife was at work. And I looked at them, and what a motley crew. I said to them, looks like the League of Extraordinary Mama Lukes. They got mad. They didn't like that too much. And the one thing I know, my son tells me all the time, this younger generation is a lot smarter than my generation. They're very smart. They are. I mean, did you know that you can shovel snow in your pajamas? Did you know that? And the parents don't care. They're like, leave them alone. They're doing work. Go shopping in their pajamas. My son bought us bagels Sunday, and he went out in his boxer shorts. I said to him, I looked at him, and he says, I'll see you. I'll be right back. And I looked at him, and I said, and he's, what, Dad? He gets an attitude right away. What's the matter, Dad? I said, are you going to wear, and before I even said pants, he says, these are pants, Dad. All the kids are doing it, Dad. You don't know nothing. You don't know anything. And, you know, one thing I know that most young people do not even know how to tell time with a face clock. Do you realize that? They can't tell time with a face clock. I said to my son's friend, what time is it? Look, he says, oh, Mr. Rizzuti, I'll look. And he grabs his cell. I said, don't grab the cell phone. He says, a lot easier. How easy is it to push a button, slide something when you can just look at the clock and say, it's 5:30? Well, what's the problem with that? And I realized they confused. I told him it's a sundial. It's not a, you have to actually take it off the wall and bring it outside. I said, and that's how we tell time. It's a sundial. And he said, but Mr. Rizzuti, it's dark out. I said, well, how do you think we tell time when it's night? How do you think we could tell when it's midnight? Bring a flashlight. That's what the Aztecs did. Anyway, we got a great show for you tonight. And one other thing I want to say about young people. What can you say about a younger generation who believes Abraham Lincoln was a vampire hunter? But anyway, we got a great show for you tonight. We have two great comics who are on two different spectrums of comedy. We have one of the great headliner from Long Island and a wonderful impressionist. So sit back, enjoy the Gagootz Show, ladies and gentlemen. It's great to be here.
Hey.
All right.
Just me.
And
I tried.
I'm sure you just met my wonderful co-hosts, Nicole Lamonaco and Stephen Perillo.
Hi. How you doing?
Hello.
How you doing? So, how was your weekend? Since this is the first show, let me just say that sometimes if you're like, why is Benny staring at the wall? Because I did a lot of radio, and they didn't have cameras in radio. And
that's true.
Okay, so they didn't have.
That's why it's called radio.
So if you see me and I look like a ventriloquist dummy, it's because I'm forgetting that I'm on camera. And we'll make more fumbles today than the Jets quarterback. But anyway, so how are you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Can't complain. Oh,
How's your week?
I can't complain. You want me to complain?
Please do.
What are you going to
Well.
complain
What else
about?
is new?
I woke up and I started complaining. No.
I know. So, any gigs this
We
week?
went
You
to an
doing
open mic last night
Yeah, we did. The Belmore Bean in
in
Belmore.
Belmore.
Yeah.
In
Oh, is
Belmore.
that what they call it? That.
Yes.
Ah,
I had a great set. He had a really good set.
yeah. But there was actually like an audience there. It wasn't just
Oh,
comics
yeah.
trying to
Oh,
work
all
on
right.
material, which was
Because
great.
I have a bit of a problem when it comes to open mics, and I guess I'm 59 years old. So, and the open mics nowadays, back then, comics would laugh for the other comics and, support you. Now, I find sometimes if you're in a room full of comics, it's just,
Yeah.
They
It
don't
can
say
be difficult
Well, you know what it is?
sometimes.
It's like most of the time we're just worrying about like what our set's going to be.
Yeah, what we're gonna say when we go up next.
Exactly, But you occasionally get some really good people that are like supportive and will actually come up to you and say, "No, that was really good." Like,
yeah. Well,
Yeah,
we have two comics on tonight. We have J.J. Boyd, as you mentioned, and John Santo. John Santo later can tell you a great story about the one time I performed at the Bean just before New Year's. So we'll ask him
Okay.
about that later.
and he was there. He was there.
Oh, he was there.
Oh, that's
He
interesting.
was there. A very interesting story.
Yeah.
Now, comedy is different. I was doing open mics and doing clubs back in the 80s, okay? And I still haven't gotten anywhere. But, no. But,
I wasn't going to
comedy's
say
different.
anything.
And
Back.
You're here now.
I'm here. I got a show. It just took me 40 years, but I made it. It's very different now. Like, you guys do your own shows now, right?
Yeah.
And you took classes.
Yeah.
I took the class with Rich Walker, Peter Bales, and Steve Lazarus.
I
Yeah.
took that as well.
She took it after me.
Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't take it at the same time?
No.
No.
It's
That's
funny
where we
because
met, though. You took pictures for.
yes, they had me come, Rich and Peter
Yeah.
and Steve. They had me come down because I do the photography too. I do professional.
Excellent
photography.
photography.
Thank you. And I photographed the graduation. And that's where I met Nicole. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, at her graduation?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep. That's when I was still spring chicken then. I didn't
But-
know anything.
But now it's harder to get into the premium clubs, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now they have like bringer shows.
Yes.
And you have to bring, how many people do you have to bring?
For
10, I think.
for like governors.
Yeah.
I believe it's 10.
We're not mentioning the names of the clubs because
Oh,
we're
whatever.
hoping we're calling them the premium clubs because we're hoping maybe they'll advertise. We want
Ah.
advertisers.
Yeah. I think is it 10 or 6?
It depends. It depends on which one you go to. I've been to one and you could bring as little as 3 people. You could bring 6. And obviously, they want you to bring
The
as many
problem
as
with
you
me
can,
is I don't
but-
have any people that love me. So I can't get 3 people that live in Patchogue that go to Patchogue.
I did a great show. The only bringer that I will do is for Marissa Smith and Joseph Conklin in the city, and
Oh, yeah,
like in
Joseph,
the
yeah.
Broadway Comedy Club.
Mhm.
And what I like about this too, some clubs, they charge your friends who are coming, your friends and family, are paying close to $20, and they have to get a 2-drink minimum.
Right.
So they're spending like $50 to see you do. You're only allowed to do what, 8 minutes, 7 minutes?
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky. So I did this show with them, Joe Conklin, at the Broadway Comedy Club Cafe. So it's a cafe next to the comedy club. Great place, great room. It was $10, and if you brought 2 people, 2 for $10, which was good. And they didn't really, the minimum wasn't that bad. So it was a fun. I will do bringer shows for them, but I'm done with bringer shows. I do my own. Now I do theater.
Yeah.
Which you've done 2 of them with me, and I like that. I'm finding it because I like the theater atmosphere.
I really do too.
The people are there for a show.
Yeah. Also,
So-
you know, the thing is with a theater, it's like it's not as intimate. You know, I don't like being that close to like the audience.
I don't like being that close to anyone
being close
ever.
to me either. It's like. You know,
Anyway,
no one
I
wants to
hate
get
to
that
cut-
close to me.
hate to cut you short, but that was pretty quick. We're going to go to a video now that we made. We're going to go to a video, and then we're going to go to a commercial break, and then we'll be back with our first guest, John Santo. No, JJ Boyd.
There we go.
And the
Okay.
fumble, that's like my 3rd fumble. So. Do you know what time the train comes? You're not sure? Oh, okay. That music's nice, huh? Very nice.
Businessman has no class. He's staring at this young girl. Thank you. Quarter. He thinks he'll tell me when I'm a quarter. Only if I could see his daughter naked. That's all the change I got. Shut me up like that? Just a quarter! Herbert with the briefcase feels bad for his wife. She's home with the
I'm divorced and single.
children.
No children.
Same guy, give me 2 bits so he can stare at the young girl.
Whoa.
Look at this. Don't make me holla for another dollar.
That's all I got.
This guy got some gall. He's got a big pair of. Pedophiles on parade! What was that? Pedophiles on parade! Pedophiles!
Take it
on
off. Take the
parade!
whole wallet. Take it. Take it off. You are evil.
I better get half of that.
Watch this young lady strut around the neighborhood. She's called the neighborhood.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tom Dow. We have a multidisciplinary practice in Melville and Ronkonkoma, New York, and we treat patients with many, many different conditions, from newborns through geriatric patients with numerous different techniques. There's a technique and a type of treatment for every class of patient. We have them all here. Here's my son Thomas, also a doctor of chiropractic, working on one of our patients' cervical spine. This patient has had chronic neck pain for many, many, many years, has been to a multitude of different practitioners with little or no response. And with our specialized techniques, she has improved tremendously and continues to improve on a daily basis. We have two practices, one in Melville and one in Ronkonkoma, New York. We are a multidiscipline chiropractic office. What that means is we have chiropractors, massage therapists, acupuncturists, psychologists, all working as a team and a network of outside professionals such as orthopedists and neurologists that we work hand in hand with to help determine what your injuries are and the best way to treat your injuries. I have the great pleasure of having my son in practice with me. We work hand in hand, father and son, to give our patients the best care possible, and a staff which is loving, caring, and you'll never have to wait at all in our office for service. Many times patients come into our office and they have what's called a soft tissue injury. Soft tissue injuries are like scars inside your body. If you've ever been cut on the outside of your body, you get a scar. The same thing happens inside of your body to your muscles and ligaments. So our job is to determine where those are, stretch the muscles, adjust the vertebra back into their correct position, and then refortify the normal structure with exercise. That's what we do best, and I hope someday you'll come see us at one of our two offices. Thank you.
And we're back with our special guest, J.J. Boyd. Yeah.
Oh, you know how to make a girl feel special.
Hey, man, it's great seeing you again.
It's great to be
really
here, man.
It's great to see you.
You look great. Your hair looks good. You got product,
Oh,
you know.
God.
I almost look like I have hair, right?
You know, a little bit of magic marker, you'll be fine, man. You look great.
It's so great to see you because I haven't seen you in a while, and now you're close to the goal you want, right? You are a working head.
Yeah, I'm close to the goal I want. I'm almost 200 pounds on Jupiter.
The camera is actually like a mile away to get us both on camera.
Hubble telescope. Good to see you. Now, yeah, I'm working all over the country, going to the Bahamas. So
Yeah,
the dream is being realized.
You're a major headliner now.
Oh, okay, sure. I'll put that on my card. Benny Good says.
Now, are you where you want to be with your career, or where do you want to go with it?
Well, let's put it this way. Now that I've done this talk show, everything else is downhill.
Listen, no matter where you go, you're never bigger than the garage, all right?
I would hope not.
I had to put that in there.
That's an in-joke, though.
No,
that's an in-joke. Our audience does not know what the garage means.
Would you like to?
Okay, would you please like to clarify that?
The garage is this bar in Patchogue Village, and like a gentleman by the name of Chuck Fox, very good guy. He runs it. The thing is, like this show is just like everyone there is drunk off their minds, you know, and they're just like, I didn't think that was funny, you know?
And they're just pretty much telling
Bob
you to be
Pickle
quiet,
pizza.
shut up. They're like, shut up, shut up.
Yeah.
And this is a regular show, though.
I did, yeah. I yelled at a guy. I went right up in his face and just like, shut your mouth.
You're performing for people against their will.
Yes.
Yes, that's the best.
It's like a comedic hostage situation.
Exactly.
Very nice. That's like hand-to-hand combat. I like that.
Now, what do you do when you want to practice, when you want to work, because you want to work out your material?
And not to sound like but typically now at the point where I am, where I always have hour 15 sets, I'll just come up with an idea. It's something I learned from Adam Ferrara, who's a pretty big name.
Yes.
Halfway through my set, I'll just take 15 minutes, 10 minutes, and just start playing with that idea right in the middle, because I have them from the first half of the show. Now I can play with them, and then I know that I have plenty of stuff to close the show with. So if I lose them for a few minutes while I get it in my head, I record it on a recorder, I go back to the hotel, and while most guys are out drinking and cavorting, I'm in my hotel having ice cream.
All right, now, I do that too. I like to work out a lot of
You
bits
listen to my material?
when I steal your material.
Well, there you go.
No, I like doing that too. I feel that I get very creative on stage. You know, I have an idea and I work with it and it develops on stage. But now, one of the reasons you and I like to do that is because we both did improv for a long time.
We also did improv on the radio, which is
we did improv on the radio, which is why I'm not looking at the camera when I do.
Well, I thought that's how you got this job, because you have a face for radio.
I didn't dress for radio though. I dressed for TV. But also, no, you were part of a group, and I studied under Joan St. Ange.
Everybody, I think almost everybody our age group started on Long Island studying under Joan St. Ange. Were you at the East Side Comedy Club?
No, I did it when she was at the McGuire's.
Okay.
I went over to McGuire's.
That was a great place to learn.
So we weren't mentioning any premium clubs.
All right, but they were owned by somebody. It was owned by someone else.
Somebody else.
Yeah,
I mean,
by the premium club.
Back when I first started doing improv classes, I used to play around with Kevin James, Gary Valentine, Ray Romano would come down. So these are the guys that I learned how to do improv alongside.
That's awesome.
So it was, and now I look back and going, man, I can't believe how little they charged for that.
It was different then. The clubs were different. They were more fun.
Yeah,
right?
it was more of a family-friendly. You could play competing clubs and not have to worry about it. Now it's a whole different story. Oh, that's a story for another show.
But they want money now. The clubs. That's why the bringer shows are so popular, because I remember it would just be an open mic, and a premium club would have an open mic.
Yeah,
and you would just go to their open mic, and if they could put you on, they put you on, and they had an audience.
We also didn't have Facebook then. I mean, the rule back when I started was you were only a comedian when other comedians called you a comedian. Now, if you can come up with a name on Facebook, JJ Boyd comedian, you could have done 3 open mics, and you're a comedian.
I know, yeah. I mean,
business cards and a Facebook. They don't have 3 minutes of material, but man, they are ready to go. You know?
Well, my wife needs a project, and anyone who knows my wife on Facebook,
Wife Nancy.
she is Facebook.
Wife Nancy.
My wife Nancy is Facebook. My wife Nancy is like a Facebook gossip columnist and a publicist. She's a publicist. She has more comedian friends than I do. So she made a fan club page for me. The Benny. It was originally Benny Rizzuti, comedian extraordinaire, and then she wrote that.
You need 3 business cards for that.
Yeah, front and back, glossy.
Speaking of which, didn't you have a website that you were trying to get together, and you said it's coming soon?
It's finally going to be up next week. JJBoyd.net. Yay!
All right. So if you want to. If you want to know where JJ's performing all over the country, starting next week,
JJAYBOYD.net, JJBoyd.net.
But you can also find you on Facebook.
Oh, yeah, I'm always all over Facebook. I got nothing to do during the day, so I'm causing general havoc on Facebook.
We were saying before, you prefer doing theaters over the clubs now, right?
Yeah, I find that the theaters, it's more of an event. Clubs are being inundated by 20-year-old somethings talking about Facebook, and they talk about doing things in the bathroom that I stopped doing when I was 13. And it's like, whereas a theater, I'm 46. I'm past that age where...
You look great.
It's good to know the check clear.
And I saw you about a month ago.
Yeah, about a month ago.
At a theater.
At the Patchogue Theater,
Patchogue Theater, opening a headliner who opened for another headline.
Yeah, I do a lot of shows now with Bobby Collins. We do 2-man shows all over the country.
And that is a show that you want to see.
Yeah, Bobby and I work very well together because he's older than me, but the energy level, It's an adult show, but it's not nasty. It's adult themed, but we don't really curse a lot, and it's very theater friendly.
Well, I'll tell you because I was a
Please
member,
tell me, I'm listening.
I was a member of the audience for that show, and when we left outside, the people they were laughing, and they said how both of you were very entertaining, and both of you are a good compliment to one another.
It's a great position to be in right now because I've honed the craft so much that people still don't know who I am, which is still good. But when it's like a great compliment. We couldn't believe how funny you were, like, because they're there to see Bobby most of the time, and then just me being able to do what I do. I'm getting my own fan base. I'm writing his fan base coattails, if you will.
Yeah, but Nancy and I, we were going to see Bobby Collins, and then we didn't even know, and we're friends on Facebook, and I didn't even know. I heard JJ's going to be there, and I said to Nancy, JJ's going to be there, and she's like, then he's got to be performing.
His wife,
why is he going to be there? You know, he's not in the audience with you.
I'm at the front going, no, that's fourth row. Follow me, please.
Was that sorry, go ahead.
Anyway, we were happy. We hadn't seen you in a very long time perform, and
I haven't seen
really
you almost since
the radio.
Yeah, since Stony Brook. I mean, that's you know,
that's like 2001. 2000.
Man, and it's funny because you don't look any older, but that's either really good or a really bad condemnation that you've looked this way forever.
He's like Dorian Gray. There's a painting of him somewhere that doesn't age.
And I want everyone to know that.
He's director on Amistad. I don't know if you know this.
In our open. Okay. Every time I talk, it's like, in our opening segment, you see JJ and I with an old dear friend, the late Vince D'Antona and George, one of my favorite ventriloquists ever.
You may not recognize me because I'm half the size, but
he's small. And I have hair.
Yes.
Which my wife pointed out. Wow, look at you two. She actually said that. Wow, look at you two. JJ's thinner, and you have hair.
It doesn't look like a photograph. It looks like an artist's renditioning of what people remember.
It's like a caricature.
And the dummy looks like a human compared to us.
Nothing new there.
Nothing. Yeah. That was that radio show, we had a lot of fun. And
yeah. And now, like I was saying, the gentleman who ran that show is now the voice of the Carolina Hurricanes down in North Carolina. So
Don Sill.
Don
Sill, wonderful man.
If you're watching, Don, we love you.
We love you, Don.
Hate your team.
Anytime, you have an open invitation. Anyway, what are we watching right now, Nicole?
The Gagootz Show.
On Madhouse TV. And now we're going to go to a video, Cooking Italiano, and then we're going to take a break. Hello, I'm a celebrity chef, Alfredo Gagootz, and this you're watching Cooking Italiano. So you say, hey, Alfredo, if there's a Cooking Italiano, why you wear the shirt Americano? Because I live in the USA. The USA is my country. I love the USA. I love America. God bless America. So when I want to teach you American how to cook a good Italiano food. So some of you want to know about the Gagootz. This is the Gagootz. Today we don't cook the Gagootz, but I want you to see it's a longer squash from my homeland, Sicily. And I come from the town of Bologna. I know, kiddie or not, Bologna, we make the best ricotta. And now I'm going to tell you about a ravioli, but I got to get rid of this. I was just choking my chicken. Okay, I choke the chicken. Tomorrow I cook the chicken. So today I want to talk to you. A lot of people in America, you buy ravioli in a can. Are you kidding me? Ravioli in a can? I got a friend, he died eating a ravioli in a can. His grandmother caught him in the kitchen and beat the hell out of him with a cane. Disgraziato. So I gotta show you. This is a ravioli in a can. Look at this. What is this? I don't even feed this to people I don't like. I tell you the truth. And I'm no. Why would I lie about the truth? Look. Oh no. Is that even a sauce? What is it here? Can you see? Here, look. What do you got here? Oh my God! Look at that. Oh goodness. Santa Tonucci. Who's gonna eat this? Oh, I want to show you something nice now. I'll show you. What do you want to do? If you don't have the time, like me, I make my own ravioli. You see, nice. This is a nice round ravioli. But I cook some nice ravioli that I make. This is what you want to mangiare this. This is what you want to eat. You don't want to eat it. I cook at Georgia Clooney's wedding. I cook. We make a ravioli. It was one of the call. You know, the wedding was in Italy, so it was about we're still up to about 6 course. The wedding she's not finished yet. And Mr. Clooney was so nice. He gave me this statue of the Statue of Liberty. He still not paying me yet, but I got a statue that just broke. Okay, this is what you want to eat. This is a ravioli. This you mangiare. You take this. You take a little bit of this. A little bread, a little cheese. And now you go, mangia the ravioli. Go, come back next time for Cooking Italiano. We cook the Gagootz and we choke another chicken. You come back, and right now you're watching the Gagootz Show, the Gagootz Hour. I don't know, and me no compete too much of this. I no kid you not. So we watch this on a Madhouse TV. You, ciao. I see you next time. Mangia tutto. And we're back with the man who was voted Long Island's #1 impressionist, John Santo.
Hello. Thank you.
What's up?
It's great to be here. It's so nice to be a part of television history, the first Gagootz Show.
I got the 2 best guests and the 2 best co-hosts.
Oh, thank you.
I do.
I'm honored
Very
to
happy.
be here. This is fantastic.
Now, we just did a show in a theater together a couple of weeks ago.
Yes. Yes, we
The
did.
4
Take
of us.
One Academy.
Yep.
The Take One Academy. We can mention their name because
They're closed.
he closed up.
We did the show, and they were like, let's just close this place down.
You know
We're
what happened?
done.
They had did the comedy show there when bad, and they had to like close the place.
He had a good time. It was a nice
Great show.
It was a great show.
What a way to conclude that business was to have a great
We
show.
were the swan song.
That's right.
I wound up having so many comics on that show because when I opened the show, before I brought up the MC, I said that we had more. This show is better than the show on the flyer because most of those comics aren't on tonight.
Yeah, what happened with that?
I
I felt like I was on like the B wedding list. It was like, hey, can you do a show this week?
You were my +1.
No, what happened was I originally I had an MC, someone who was going to MC for me, and then he never got back to me after. He was all gung-ho to do the show. We had a meeting with Steven, and Keith Fitz was on that show. So this guy I wanted to be my MC, all of a sudden he stops contacting me. He didn't talk to me. Then I got someone else who was going to do it. They did, and then I had a top comic who also headlines around here, and he just happened to have the time off, so he had the spot. So he offered to do it. On Thursday night, where the show is on a Saturday, 6 o'clock Thursday night, he says, Benny, I got offered some good money to go to Pennsylvania and do a gig. So I got to take it.
We're not mentioning any premium clubs.
We're not mentioning names or clubs. So anyway, he's still a great friend of mine. And I do want him on the show because I'm going to break his chops about that.
Well, I was offered a TV pilot that night, but once I committed to a
Well,
show...
you're like Benny Gagootz.
He's not bigger than the garage.
No.
No.
But anyway, so I sent out, on Facebook and to everybody. And John and Mike Keegan both said yes at the same time. So now I had to.
Well, we weren't together. I want to make that clear.
And I had asked Nicole
He's like,
a week before. I asked Nicole to come on because I had just met her. We did a show a week earlier, so I got Nicole to come on. So now I wound up with seven comics, and nobody to MC because the only one that could have MC'd for me, Stephen could have MC'd, but then you don't get the full Stephen Perillo goth. The goth persona that he liked, because I saw him MC a week earlier, and he doesn't.
I wasn't as goth.
He wasn't as goth, and he's like, you know, his type of comedy. He likes to be dark, but he feels.
He didn't have his nail polish on that day.
When he MCs, he doesn't like to be as dark.
No.
So, and I wanted the dark Stephen Perillo. That's what I wanted. So, and Key Fitz, I did a theater show a few months earlier, and Key was my MC, and I thought, since I'm going to have a lot of the same people, I don't want them thinking, oh, every time Benny has a show, Key is. So I had Alfredo Gagootz, who you just saw that video. I had Alfredo.
Have you ever noticed that Benny and Alfredo Gagootz have never been in the same room at the same time?
It's like a Clark Kent Superman.
It's like Batman.
And I feel like I'm dumber than Lois Lane that I've never put it together before. Like, because it's only a pair of glasses that separates the two.
It's a mustache.
That's right, or a mustache, right.
Which wouldn't stay on.
Yeah, and you had the beard on when you introduced me.
I had
my God, he aged quickly.
But the reason I did Alfredo because I had nobody to MC. And
I could have hosted. You should have asked me.
No, because
I could have hosted.
You should have
been the headliner. You really should have been the headliner.
Thank you.
But the reason, so it wound up, I should have been before you, and you should have headlined the show. But because I did the Alfredo Gagootz, then Benny Rizzuti went after you.
Well, the flow is, It doesn't matter because the theater's
Then I turned into Alfredo Gagootz.
Then she came out as Alfredo Gagootz's sister or something.
Yeah.
To bring me up.
I was Nicole Ravioli.
Nicole Ravioli.
It felt more like a play than a comedy show. It was very well produced.
All right, now, I want to get back to you're an impressionist.
Yes.
Now, when you first started to be a comedian, did you start as an impressionist?
Yeah, I started doing impressions, from the beginning.
And as I was talking to you earlier, you're different because if you see an impressionist, a lot of times impressionists do what that person says all the time.
The exact thing that they say. I say what they wouldn't say.
You say what they wouldn't say. Can you give us an example?
Well, I have people.
Can you do Robert Downey Jr.?
No, I can't do Robert Downey Jr. But I do presidents, I do The Sopranos, I do a lot of celebrities, politicians, and I put them in situations that they wouldn't be in. And I do presidents like Bush and Obama as Viagra spokesmen. I got the idea from watching Bob Dole, who really was a Viagra spokesman. I said, what if other politicians were the spokesman for Viagra? So that's how I kind of got into that.
Dude, can you do a couple of impressions for us right now? Like,
sure. Yeah, I could do George Bush as a Viagra spokesman. Do it. Each year in the United States, millions of Americans are diagnosed with impotence. That's just part of what I do. I do it much bigger.
I know.
In the interest of time.
I saw this thing on Facebook the other day. It's like George Bush accepted the ALS challenge. He's like, I accept ALS challenge.
Oh, right. I have to do more of those. I was doing a different ALS impression. So I was doing like Schwarzenegger. I was doing Bill Clinton, doing the ALS challenge. I'd be like, I love this ALS challenge because I get to see women in wet T-shirts. Whoever thought this was genius. It's like the women are pouring water over themselves. It's raising money for charity. And I see women in wet T-shirts. It's genius.
Now, your Tony Soprano is brilliant.
Yeah.
You did a video Christmas time on Facebook about you felt bad for the Jewish people who couldn't eat the same...
Oh, they couldn't eat the Italian food. Yeah. I think it was... What's the one where they fast for a week? Passover. Right?
Yeah.
So I said, everybody come to my house. I'll have Cabela make a beautiful pasta dish. That's how you conclude the fast.
That's what it was. It was Thanksgiving time. And
I forget
they were celebrating Passover, and you were like, you did a whole thing about
each holiday I try to keep my Facebook friends entertained. A lot of people I've known for a long time.
And I want to mention now that we have a clip because the show's new. John has a great clip that I'm going to air on our next show. So he won't be here when he's not here.
That's the ultimate
clip. It's a week in between the guest and the video. I love it.
So we're a little late.
I told you were making television history. This is great. This is new, uncharted territory.
Anyway.
Anyway, that was a long pause.
I was
We were waiting for the applause break
I was laughing.
after the callback.
Cue fart joke.
No, but now you are not. You're not a full-time comedian, right? You.
Well, actually, because I was laid off from my day job, I actually am a full-time comedian because I have no other sources of income right now.
All right.
So yes, I am a professional full-time comedian. That's all I do.
That's
my
all you
days
do.
are off, and I only work at night. Thank you.
That's great.
But not by choice, though. I mean,
But you're not like me too. You're not a comedian that you when you go up, you do a great set, and you know your material is very polished. But you're not a guy that you don't want to travel and do all that traveling.
Oh no, I really want to go to Hollywood,
He's
get the
in it to win it.
I would love to do all that.
Oh, I thought you told me that you weren't really.
No, I really wanted to. If anybody's out there could offer me a show, SNL spot, something, I'm available. I can start tomorrow on any project.
You do Jackie Gleason? You do Jackie?
No, I don't do Jackie Gleason.
Oh,
I do 40 people, but you guys are all asking me about the people.
All right,
I don't
do
your Barack Obama.
Oh, that's the best.
Oh, let me tell you something, Benny. Normally, a president doesn't make talk show appearances, but I'll make an exception. Because this show is a great show, and I wanted to be on the first episode, and it's something I wanted to do. That's Barack Obama.
Yeah.
It's weird not hearing the laughter and the applause like you would at a comedy show.
I know, we don't have.
So that was
canned
great
laughter.
that you guys did that.
Do you have any? Do you have any women that you impersonate?
No, not. I was
No?
working on a Sarah Palin, but I couldn't get it to work.
Yeah.
So I went with Morgan Freeman instead. That was like I try to do a new one every
I
month.
would love to hear that. Morgan Freeman? That's hard to do.
Well, it's an honor to be here on the Benny Gagootz Show. And if you need me to narrate the opening, I'd be happy to do so. I could talk about penguins making their way into basswater. So. The Deep Impact's been on all month, so I've been doing my Deep Impact.
Oh yeah,
Morgan
Deep
Freeman.
Impact.
The asteroid is the size of Central Park, all the way down to the Battery. It's been on all month. I mean, you can't help but watch it.
Oh, good stuff.
Now, who were your comedian idols growing up?
Rodney Dangerfield. In fact, my first time on stage, I was in my high school talent show, and I did my Rodney Dangerfield impression. And my friend, Joe Randazzo, his band was on before me, so we kept his drums in place, and he did the rim shot with the drums, and it worked great.
I know Joe Randazzo. What does
You
that
do?
name sound familiar?
Yeah, I feel like
to
I
me?
know him too.
What is that? Oh, no,
Does
wait.
he speak Italian?
I think
Was
so.
he from Italy?
No, I don't know.
Randazzo sounds familiar. I'm getting texts from, excuse me, I'm on live TV, okay? I'm on live TV. If there was something you had to ask me, should have asked me an hour ago.
It's
There's
his
a
wife
strap
Nancy.
called the mute
Live
button.
TV. If you
I
can't
told you
get it,
never
you'll
call
find
me
it on
myself.
YouTube. Please. And I know it's not my wife, okay? My wife would not do that. Because
Your wife, Nancy.
my wife, Nancy, as opposed to my wife Irma. My wife, Nancy. You know, go on Facebook, say, who's Benny Rizzuto's wife, and
Nancy.
she'll never leave
No,
you alone.
When we first met, you always introduced Nancy as my wife, Nancy. That's why I say that.
Okay. All right, anyway, you know what that sound is?
That's the time limit.
That sound is, we have a video of a bit of mine, and then we're going to talk about it later. My Italian map bit, because I know how much you love that with the map.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we have that. We're going to go to that Italian map bit. Then we're going to take a break, and then we'll be back with all of us, with JJ and John. And we'll discuss more comedy.
Yay.
I told you that I have cousins in Brooklyn. I have a lousy sense of direction. I really do to this day. Horrible sense of direction. And I still remember I needed GPS. I don't have one yet. I need it. I remember the first time I ever drove to Brooklyn. And I wasn't sure how to get back. I said to my uncle, how do I get home from here? He said, no problem, baby. I'm going to make you a map. Right? A map to an Italian is everything on the kitchen table. This napkin holder is your car. This sausage shaking on the other end. This sausage shaking is the exit to the Belt Parkway. Don't forget you want to take the Belt Parkway. You don't want to get lost. Now my other uncle's sitting at the table of China, and it's one of those white cloth tablecloths. and they got the butter knives, and they're making marks. Hey, don't forget, you got to turn right, you got to turn left. This is, over here, you got to go to the belt parkway. Don't forget the belt parkway. I'm so confused, they got cannolis out. I'm so freaking, I start getting this vision of, I'm going to get lost. I'm going to pull over to a police officer, and I'm going to say, excuse me, sir, I missed the fork. There's no fork around here. I said, no, the salad fork. Mr. freaking salad fork, I just still know. So my uncle senses this. They sense my confusion. They come out with this brilliant idea. We're going to get into one car, Betty, and but before that, my uncle, to make matters worse, one of my uncles says, Betty, here's your baby cousin Josephine. Picks her up in her diapers, puts her on the end of the table and says, this is a Verrazano. If you go that way, you ain't going to the Long Island. Holy crap, who change the diaper around here? Kid smells like Staten Island. Running over babies in the street, so my uncle sensed my confusion. They said, we're going to get into one car, we lead you to the exit. So 6 of my uncles crammed into an IROC C. And they said, we're going to take you and we're going to beep and wave when we get to the exit. Beep and wave. So they take me, they beep and wave, I beep and wave, and go over the Verrazano. Italians have a great sense of direction. Christopher Columbus discovered America. He was looking for India. His navigator was one of my ancestors. This napkin hole is in the center. This is so big as India. You're going to want to take it up that bar.
I'm Tommy Marr. I'm down in St. Bart's having a good time. A lot of people at this time, they like to go have a little cocktail. But you know what I do? I'm going to watch MadhouseTV.com. You got that right.
And we're back.
Yay.
Yay. John, I know you wanted to,
Plug my website, johnsantocomedian.com, and I have to update my show schedule for October and November, which I should have done probably before I came on TV.
Yeah.
But it'll be up tomorrow.
Where are you
I'm gonna fly
going
my
to be?
intern.
Where are you going to be next?
I'm going to be at the Bayway Arts Center in East Islip on November 1st.
Okay, cool.
Where am I going to be?
Yeah.
I'll be in Clayton, North Carolina, and Myrtle Beach. So if you're heading down that way,
People
jump a ride with John. He's got a nice minivan.
People watch this all over the world.
All
If
right,
you have-
then mention Benny's name and you get nothing off. As a matter of fact, we're going to charge you extra.
This seriously has a worldwide audience? That's
Yes, worldwide audience. If you have a computer, you can get this network.
So the Taliban are watching this right now.
This beats the first time.
Oh yeah, that's what
the Taliban.
Anyway, John, I mentioned this in the beginning of the show that they did the bean last night.
Yeah.
The bean. You guys
the
were at the bean?
Belmore
Okay.
bean.
An open
Yep,
mic
yep.
last night.
I only did the bean once, and it was the night before New Year's Eve.
Yes. I was
And
there.
Do you want to tell that story?
Benny was doing his phenomenal act. It was an Italian bit, and there was one lone person. The whole room was
I do a
laughing.
Sicilian parade.
Sicilian parade.
Where I do a gangster, you know, with the jacket over his head, and then I'd say, wouldn't it be cool if they had a mafia fashion show? And then
And it's a very funny bit. But one guy in the audience got offended and took over the entire thing.
one guy.
One guy. And we're all laughing. We're all laughing. And this guy got offended, and he actually told you to stop.
And he started yelling at me.
Like it was ridiculous.
He said that the way I was insulting Sicilians was like calling an African American the N-word, is what he said.
And then
John
it
and I are both
snowballed.
Sicilian.
And he was a single guy in a coffee house.
One guy in a coffee house.
One guy in a coffee house, and he's worried what people think about Sicilians. I'd worry about myself, my
And
friend.
I
You know what I'm saying?
so I tried talking to him. I said, "Sir, you Sicilian? You better believe I'm." And he just went off.
And I snapped into Tony Soprano, and I said, I go,
It's okay to be offended. What you can't do is interrupt the show.
God, then we whacked them out. No, we didn't.
Then the guy, and my wife was there, and my wife had her cell phone because this guy was carrying on about this bit.
It was
that
crazy.
I've done this bit for years, right? So
You know where I've been? I've been at the garage.
He hijacked the show, is what he did.
So anyway,
It is so old, it came over on the Santa Maria.
that just came off. That bit, my Santa Maria bit, just ended. Before. Yeah. So that's perfect.
Look at that. Like
what
I
a
was right
callback!
there.
Yeah, right there. What a
I'm not just eye
callback!
candy. There's a brain here. I just want you to know that.
I'm up here.
But
Eyes up. Eyes up.
Anyway, my wife went with me to the show.
Your wife
And
Nancy.
She said, my wife Nancy. What a pain in it. So anyway, she shows the guy, she's about to dial 911. And the guy got up. He was with his kids who weren't little kids. They were teenagers.
Right.
And his wife. And they left. And then when they left, I went back and finished up my set. And John was like my bodyguard. He sat like right across where you are. And to make sure that nobody else was going to interrupt.
I said, nobody interrupts Benny Gagootz's set. That was it. I did Paulie, Sylvia, I did like 4
Yeah,
Sopranos.
he did like he turned into the whole cast of The Sopranos just to protect me.
I said, if we're okay with it, you should be too. That's that.
That's why I like traveling with this guy. It's an 8-hour trip. You got 9,000 voices. I never touched the radio. It's great. He could actually do all the harmonies for all of Tony Orlando's bits. It's hysterical. He is Dawn.
Yeah, we did a road show together in Stamford.
Stamford, Connecticut. We had a ball.
We had a ball in the car. The car ride was better
It was better than the show.
Now, do you guys have any advice for aspiring comedians, people who want to do stand-up comedy?
Don't do it. It's hard enough to get stage time. Don't do it. Absolutely do not go in. It's the worst thing in show business you could do. Become a singer or something.
I mean,
Starbucks is hiring.
money-wise, not everybody makes a lot of money in this business
I always
anymore.
tell new people, you know what? If you're in it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Yes.
It's you do it for your passion. Do it because it's something you always wanted to do, and the money will. If you stick with it, it's stick-to-itiveness. You just keep going, and eventually you too could be driving a Nissan Versa 18 hours for $300. Dreams do come true.
Now, I've been doing it 25 years, so the money does take a long time to manifest.
Well, you made the mistake of getting married and having kids, you idiot. What the hell was that about?
I get a lot of material. From
Why'd you do that?
You could watch people with kids.
I only got married for the material.
See, this is now. If you get a divorce, she takes half your punchlines.
That's
You guys are great audio. I'm not leaving. We're staying here.
That must have been. I would have liked to be in that car.
Oh, that car.
with
We
you
should
guys
have.
on that ride.
We should be filming everything.
And
everything.
I'm serious. I'm coming home with you. I'm going to.
We should also mention that the Biltmore Bean is a very good place to have shows. That was only a one isolated.
That was a one isolated.
And we've had many shows that were great since.
And they've dialed down the caffeine after that.
Yes.
So
it's all decaf.
And I just want you to know, it's an open mic show, so there's no cover charge.
Right.
There's no and Les Deegan, who runs it, happens to he'll write a list. If you get there, if you're the 50th guy, you'll still go up.
You'll still go up even at 2 o'clock in the morning. It's like a Major League Baseball game in extra innings.
That's why they use coffee. This way you can stay awake.
So that's why we have it at a coffee house.
Yeah,
The whole thing is perfectly
Last night there was like 16 to 17 people, right? That went up. Yeah.
That reminds me of the old East Side Comedy Club. Richard Dixon, and you would have a list. You were like 1, 2, 3. There'd be 15 people. You would be 13th, and he would keep coming up. Now you're 13F. He would keep pushing 13F. You'd perform. Right. Nobody was there.
Anyway, I want to thank you guys for being on my first show.
Oh, thank you for having us.
Oh, thanks for being. You're always welcome to come back.
TV history.
And Nicole, you have any closing things?
I'd just like to say thank you to you guys for coming in. It was a pleasure to have you.
I just came to see her. She's pretty.
It's the boobs.
I have boobs.
That's why
if my wife was watching, I was watching Benny the whole time. I wasn't looking at the boobs.
You have anything to say to the audience?
I had a wonderful time.
Okay.
You had a good time.
I know. It's
you
like,
don't
what's
look
that
like
feel
somebody who has a good time.
Remember this feeling. It's joy.
Oh.
Anyway, what were we watching tonight?
Tonight we were watching the Gagootz Show
on Madhouse TV. You're great. See you again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, same computer.
When I was a lad, I was a little bit shy. Something came along, caught my eye. When I heard the jazz band strike up, I swear I had my mind made up. Now I'm getting older, and everything is in full swing. Now I'm getting bolder, boy, got to do that thing. Used to walk alone with the rest, got something on my own. Oh, baby, you got a little something, darling, you got a little something new, find a little something new. Broke away somehow, that's why I'm swinging it, got my own thing now.
To be on the show?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Of course.
Are we doing that?
Oh, I should have